My name is Jerome Altman. I am the director of the Exodus Drum and Bugle Corps. One of the greatest things that I found was that music is always an encouragement and uplifting, and it gives the kids a chance to do great things in the community.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wonder Woman TV show this evening. I'm Wanda Carter, your host, and we're going to be talking. To some young men here this evening, and we're gonna talk about women after the workforce or in the workforce after COVID. Thank you. Thank you very much. So that's really okay. I'll hold it down here. So, gentlemen, let's take just a moment to have you introduce yourselves. Can we start with you?
My name is John Joe Higgins. I'm 16 years old. I go to Walter Christian Academy and pretty active here.
Oh, thank you so much. And would you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Jamie Rowell, and I go to Westinghouse College Prep.
And how are you?
I'm 15.
Yeah.
I'm a freshman.
So you see, our audience, we have a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and then we have Mr. Brown. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Brown. I'm an economist. I look at the economy, try to diagnose what's people doing in the workforce, and things of that nature.
Okay, so the topic is, Dr. Jackson, please tell everybody who you are, and we're so happy you came.
My name is Dr. Don Jackson. I'm the president and co-founder of the Community Peace Program, which is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization that seeks to eliminate or greatly curtail the homicides in the Inglewood community, whether gang violence, police violence, domestic violence, or just children in general being murdered.
Thank you. And George, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm George Owens. Also here, one of the facilitators with the TRIPS program here at the Exodus Institute, and dealing with the technical and the background to be able to put on the TV programs and teach our youth on how to broadcast and present themselves on social media, as far as radio, television, and the internet is concerned, and also promote themselves through social media.
So this evening's topic is how women that were in the workforce before COVID, what happened to them after COVID? I mean, I've been reading about how many women that were in the workforce stopped working after COVID. I got COVID in November of 2021, and I didn't go back to work until about March of 2022. And when I went back, like you hear now, I have that residual cough. I had that residual cough really bad back then. So I didn't go back to work in the traditional sense where you go on site and work. I did most of my work from home, and that's when I started the remote broadcast for the different shows that I do. We used to go down to Kansas TV, George and I, and a lot of other producers. But now we're doing most of our work on location or from our homes. So according to Google, there were over 1.8 million women that left the workforce after COVID. I mean, what do you think they're doing today? Let's have a discussion on what do we think the women are doing today that left the workforce, the traditional workforce. Are they working at home? Are they doing Uber and Lyft? What are the women doing? Because they got to take care of the family, right? And in most of our households, we have husbands and wives that both work. There's not the traditional mother at home raising the kids. So what do you think happened to the women that left the workforce after COVID? Anybody? Mr. Brown, I know you got something to say.
Well, I did a little research and what I found there out that is that COVID was going on, a lot of American companies, the United States government as well, a lot of their employees, they were working at home. And through my research, I found out that a lot of the women, they're still working. And I think the COVID has redirected a lot of businesses and a lot of people,
Watch your mic,
and a
serious.
lot of people to and working. So basically, that's what it is. You know, America is gonna, and they are doing business at home now, and that's due to COVID. So a lot of women, they working. You know, the economy is faring well, and a lot of them, you know, my research, they're at home doing work.
Okay.
For offices.
Okay.
AT&T, all the big corporations, majority of the women are still working.
Okay,
I research.
okay, George, gentlemen, you got anything to say about what you think is going on with the workforce, the women's workforce? Anybody?
Through my research, I've seen that a lot of women were continuously working and they were increasing throughout the years, gaining more. But after COVID, it started decreasing. And a lot of women started leaving their jobs, taking care of their kids. And, you know, it was a very hard time because I was one of those kids that my mother had to, you know, stay home and take care of because she wasn't working at the time. And afterwards, it was just a big, you know, downfall of money and having to pay rent and
Yeah.
struggles.
Oh, wow, he hit on some very vital points. You know, women, before COVID, men and women, mothers and fathers were working. And children came home and did their homework and kind of took care of themselves until one of the parents came home. But now, since women are not traditionally working in the workforce, they're at home working. And now, and after COVID, they had the homeschooling. So they were at home working and they still have to work with the children, homework, make sure they stayed on task with the school because they were doing the homework at school, at home. And I know my grandchildren, I had to really stay after them for them to stay on course because since they were at home, they always had to go to the bathroom or they wanted to go upstairs. They didn't want to sit in front of the computer and study. But when mom was there or when I was there, they had to do that. What say you about what you think happened to the workforce, the women's workforce after COVID?
Yeah, I was gonna say, one of the big effects that COVID had on women, especially if they had to stay home with their kids.
Yeah.
They kind of got a little bit of insight on what teachers go through, you know, because you trying to take care of the kids, you trying to, if you're working at home, you trying to do that too. And they really driving you crazy. I remember this didn't have anything to do with COVID, but I remember one time I took my son with me to work and I was a painter. Trying to, you know, do your job, trying to watch him. You know, it was like
running a marathon.
Like a marathon, you know. And then, except, you know, when you leave and go to work and come back, you get back home or to get to work. When you're at home with COVID, you're home with your kids, it's woo. It's a whole lot, you know. And then if you're trying to, once you go back to work from COVID, then you got that extra fee of who you gonna pay to take care of the kids?
Yeah, we know that to take care of kids, and you
Yeah.
know, a lot of us are in between family responsibilities. You know, I had my mother, my grandmother, my Uncle Frank. They were people who were affected by COVID. Somebody's got to be there with them to make sure that they are taken care of, because when I had COVID, I got so sick, my sons and daughters had to come over and take care of me. Can you imagine my son, 53-year-old man, have to come over and help his mama go to the bathroom? That wasn't enjoyable for him, and it surely wasn't enjoyable for me. But guess what? If your parents get sick when you are as a male and she's a female, you might help her. It don't matter that she's a female, you might help her. Let's say you, George.
I feel that we're still suffering from a lot of the things that happened during COVID, because as you know, there's a lot of males that's not even in the house to be there because they're either incarcerated or, you know, they're just not in the home, or they're just doing other stuff. And so I feel that a lot of young adults, as well as people that are elderly, passed away during COVID, so that the household where the woman had to take care of the home, and sometimes she had to go out and take them on loans and Social Security benefits and things of that nature to provide for the family, and a lot of them never actually got a chance to re-enter the workforce. So now we have a lot of kids and juveniles that's out right now that's probably roaming around trying to make ends meet for their family and to create income. So you see a lot of snatching grabs with stores and stuff that you may see downtown. You see a lot of carjackings. You see young adults just having dysfunctional tendencies just because they're in dysfunctional homes within the last 2 to 3 years that we've been dealing with this thing. And you can see a lot of that transpire in some of the streets and the things that we do today in Chicago, as well as around to other parts of the country and abroad. So there's a lot of those effects that we still have to talk to young adults and see how they're feeling and how they're faring in their own households, because it's an issue that we're constantly dealing with today. We already had kids raising kids. Now, with some of the adults gone or not working, it's only the strong survive. You know, and so I see a lot of things, a lot of activity happening from the west side, south side, from people just trying to survive and have food on the table. And to add to that, the government takes away some of the subsidies like food stamps and child support and things of that nature, and they don't give you stimulus packages like they were giving you. So that started out, oh, it's okay, we can do it for fine, having an extra $2,000 here and there. But now you don't get the $2,000. They drop the food stamps, and the jobs are closing down. The Walmarts and other convenience stores are closing down because they say they're not making any money. They're taking a loss, so they just shut down several Walmarts. I mean, not only just the market stores with the food, but the actual big venues that actually have Walmarts in the Chatham area, a lot of other areas inside Chicago. So even with the low income and minimum wage type jobs, they're shutting down, put more pressure on the community and society to create programs and ways for our young adults and the youth to be able to come up and be able to feed themselves and raise the families.
I'd like to ask the young man, so after COVID, how did your family fare? Are there any incidents that you'd like to share with us in terms of how you and your family had to adjust after COVID? What happened for you?
So So, my family, right? So it was me, my auntie, and my grandmother, right? So my auntie was in college, and she was taking college classes, right? But that was before like 2000. I'm sorry, that was before COVID.
Okay,
She was actually going into colleges and like in the, and so during like when COVID was actually starting to like, happen, so my auntie had to like go into like stay in the house, right?
wow,
Because of how dangerous it was. Like there was no we couldn't like actually think of things to like actually counter it, except for like our face masks. But
right,
yeah. And then my grandmother, right, she was sort of like staying in the house, but like she was also working. Like she works from home, right? But she
Okay.
works for like a huge company. So I really think she wasn't like as affected, but she wasn't. But before COVID, she would go to the building. So, but she had described to me that it was like she was in prison
yeah,
during.
I heard that from so many people. They
Yeah.
felt like they were in prison,
Yeah.
couldn't go out, couldn't go shopping, kids couldn't go to school.
Exactly.
They couldn't even go outside and play because we were afraid that, we really didn't understand what COVID was and how it was impacting us. So we were trying to just keep you guys safe, don't go outside, don't. Woo, I'm telling you, but what about you? What experience did you have during COVID?
The type of experiences that I do have with COVID is, I was living with my stepmother and my dad and all two of my brothers.
Okay,
And it was a major struggle because her and my dad weren't working at all. So they would have to rely on the stimulus checks to come in and help pay for food.
yes,
And
yes,
the experience was something. We weren't allowed to experience anything.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we started missing school. It was something I didn't know I would ever feel.
Statistics say that more than 1.1 million women left the workforce. 1.1 million women. That's a lot of women. They said that was 63% of the workforce. So there were more women working than men. And so when this shut us down, they shut our families down. That's a scary situation. So what would you all suggest that we do in the event that COVID comes back or any other disease that would entrap us and cause us not to be able to live as we normally have? I see we have a caller. Is that you, Margot? Welcome to the show.
I'm listening to the show, but it has a huge echo going on from my, I don't know if it's my phone or me calling in. Do you hear echo?
Echo?
Yes.
Can you hear echo now?
Yeah, it sounds like maybe it's okay. I can hear everything. Am I pretty clear?
Yeah, you clear.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I know for sure, after experiencing all the things that everybody has said and things that I've experienced, is that the unity of family, and even if you don't have family, we better start beginning to look at how we expand our circle of influence. Because more than anything else now is that we need people. We need the help from people. We need to be able to assist people. And there used to be a time before COVID and even now where people say they didn't want people in their business. Family members, aunties, and people would say, I don't want this person in my business. Don't leave my house and go tell it. You better go and get some help. Because we don't know what's going to come back up upon us. Now, I heard somebody talk about the link cards money. Money is flying all over the place. They have food programs all over the place that's giving out free food and may not be the best and the healthiest food, but I remember a time coming up, I'm 68 years old. I remember a time coming up eating powdered eggs and powdered milk. So the stuff that I see that comes in these boxes and these bags for people are far more healthier than what we had or what would be considered. We even had meat in cans. So only thing that I'm saying is I pray to God that it does not return. But if it does, I think children need to become more friendly with each other. Aunties need to get involved, and we need to let them in. And looking at trying to hide personal things, our children are being hurt behind closed doors. And there is no pandemic, and there wasn't no pandemic before all of this started happening. Look at the number of people. We have more media coverage, and we got a lot of people that are very angry. And if I had a magic wand, I would stop everybody from using profanity. Because profanity right now, every time you hear the bitch word, it's coming out of the mouths of females calling their children. It's coming out of the mouths of males and females calling those names to each other. And the children are in a rage. And a lot of this is coming from behind closed doors. So if you want to continue to have your family done, they're doing research trying to figure out how do we calm these children down. What do we do? People are screaming jobs, but if the jobs are there and available and the children have disciplinary problems, and I've worked in some of the schools that sub, I've never seen anything like it before in my whole entire life. So I think that we need to start teaching and trying to show these people how our children, our neighbors, and the rest of them, to show ourselves friendly among each other. Because I remember having COVID and I crawled from one end of my house to the other because I couldn't stand up. And everybody was on quarantine. So you have to be able to figure this thing out in a more calm and effective way. We can point all the fingers that we want, but we better have some kind of emergency backup, family to family or friend to friend.
Wow, thank you so much.
You know,
Go ahead, Dr. Jackson, tell us what you have to say.
she mentioned the whole thing about people learning how to get along with each other, you know, and during the period after COVID, I guess it would be wise to for us to learn how to get along better, because if COVID comes back, we're going to be forced back inside again. Really, what was when COVID was around was people were forced back inside. That anger, I guess, was forced back inside. It was contained back inside, and things like domestic violence was on the rise.
You know, when COVID struck, I remember I lived in Inglewood, and there were all kind of people running up and down the street, breaking in stores. I saw some young men taking a cash station from the U.S. Bank, rolling it down the street. I was like, what the?
That's on TV. That's on the movies.
That's crazy. No, for real, I saw that. So I think that COVID brought out the other characteristics that we have: violence, disobedience, criminality. Because I also saw the police sitting in their cars not doing anything while these people were doing all that. So what's that all about?
Well, if we just remove COVID by itself, if we just remove that to just one side, I have a brother that has COPD that's very ill. Right now, my brother is very, very ill with his lungs. Now, you got COPD out here. I talked to 2 neurologists. He said the epidemic that's coming next is from smoking, because the lungs cannot tolerate the chemicals that's in legal marijuana that's supposed to be legal and clean and healthy. But it is now not just that, but the cigarette smoke. If you look on the sides of the packet of cigarette smoke, it says the Surgeon General said, you're going to get emphysema and cancer. And the amount of carbon monoxide that's in the cigarette So if you think COVID got you, the cigarettes got you, the alcohol got you, the paper that's rolled in these, that they're rolling up all of these flavored cigarettes, it's more than just COVID, baby. We're on our way to a major disaster. Because the lungs ain't going to be able to keep it. We're not going to be able to keep our lungs healthy. We got people with asthma. We got people walking around with pumps. We got people walking around with oxygen right now. So even if they protect themselves behind closed doors, let somebody walk past them with a cigarette. Let somebody walk past them and their lungs are already weak and they have and they smoke marijuana and you can smoke it everywhere. Just about every car. Look at the number of children that are in the cars riding with people that are smoking. These babies, these infants, all of the rest of them. They're taking their children, dropping them off to daycare. And the daycare providers are saying, don't bring this baby back here smelling like that. So I'm just telling you, we got some work to do. We got work to do. And I'm saying it because one of my nieces put her baby in my car, in a seat with one of them baby seats. Baby, beautiful little baby. Face all shined all up with oil or whatever they put on the baby. And the little baby smelled like she had just smoked a joint herself. The car seat and her smell like it.
The baby?
I don't just use it for myself, but when you smoke, and then you have to use perfume and cologne, and then you use an aerosol aerosol sprays, and you're also using incense to erase the smell. Look at all those chemicals that you're putting in the air right inside your own house. And God forbid that you burn up something inside your house. Those are the little teeny things that we have to either, I'm not getting too excited about it anymore. I'm taking the tiny steps to just try to tell people, slow down. Just slow this thing down. Because my business is flatline. I can't even trust the doctors that's up here with my brother. They didn't give him so much medicine, the pharmacy just scratching their head. They can't find nothing wrong with his brain, but they got on 2 seizure medications.
Okay.
And I asked him, is it the carbon monoxide in the cigarette? He said it could be, but he can't see it on the EEGs that he's taking. So I'm just telling you, we gotta fight. And I've decided to relax, get in the fight, and try to win.
There are 2 types of people in this world. Those who are inspired and those who inspire. Those who constantly long for and those who acquire. No idea is original, yes, there's truth in this. But the person who has the strength to implement the idea always is. Because there are those who have dreams and chase them, but those who sleep waiting to be awakened. Unaware that we can make a difference in our existence through hard work, resilience, and persistence. Because a man that wishes to move mountains must realize that he must first start by shoveling pebbles from its base, and be aware that no matter how long it takes, a man can move mountains. And most of you will think this is just a saying, and a majority won't believe me, but when you get a couple minutes on your PC, Google Dasharaf Manjihi, because a man can move mountains. Success is a ladder, and only few of us will find it. Even less of us will have the strength to climb it, afraid of the prospect of spending your whole life climbing. But just remember that no matter what route you take, it's always up to you to decide it. Don't let your success define you, let your success be defining. Have you seen that picture on Facebook of the guy that's mining? Why give up when you're this close to the diamond? Because people that change the world do not let the world change them. Because there are 2 types of people in this world. Those who are amazed and those who are amazing. So which one are you?